Let's switch things over to the US now, where there has been a day of diplomatic developments. Our Washington correspondent Jonathan Kearsley is across it all. So let's start with the President, Jono, and he made it clear in his clearest terms yet about why he had to strike when he did.
That's exactly right, Pete. This was President Trump taking questions from reporters for the first time in the 4 days since he announced Operation Epic Fury, outlining in his view that he believed Iran was going to strike first and insisting it was not Israel that forced his hand, rather it was the other way around. He is very much making his case to the American people now as to why he decided to launch military action against the Iranian regime. We know that at least 50 people of the Iranian leadership, according to the president, had been killed in the initial strike, including the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And he also referenced that Israeli strike on the Council of Experts that was meeting in Tehran to essentially vote to appoint a successor to Ali Khamenei. But speaking inside the White House alongside German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, the president was asked about what he viewed as the worst-case scenario for this conflict. This was his response.
I don't know if there's a worst case. We have them very much beaten militarily from the military standpoint. They're still lobbing some missiles. At some point, they won't even be able to do that. I guess the worst case would be we do this and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen.
So the president outlining his concerns about what could happen in the long-term future, but right now there are still questions over the short-term future, the leadership in Iran and how long exactly this conflict will last, Pete.
Jono, while the United States has carried out these strikes alongside Israel, Donald Trump has especially been scathing of some European allies this morning.
He's really been pointing the finger at Spain and the United Kingdom in particular. For Spain, it was around not allowing the United States to access their bases. And for the United Kingdom, well, it's what the president views as their slow response in engaging into this conflict. The United Kingdom made what it viewed as a legal decision not to enter the initial strikes with the United States and Israel. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer had been here at the White House not all that long ago. And remember that Donald Trump was also offered and given a state visit to the United Kingdom. In this relationship that has been dubbed the special relationship, the long-standing relationship and alliance between the US and the United Kingdom. But the British Prime Minister has eventually decided to defensively join this operation. That is the words that he has been using alongside the leaders of France and Germany. And earlier today, Sir Keir Starmer took to social media to announce the next move that he was going to be making in order to protect British assets in the region, particularly around Cyprus. He said, "We are sending helicopters and counter-drone capabilities, and HMS Dragon is to be deployed in the region." HMS Dragon, one of the British arsenal's most significant warships, so it is now making its way there. But President Trump was scathing of the United Kingdom in particular. This is just some of what he had to say.
By the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. For whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
Britain, alongside France and Germany, had issued a statement round about 48 hours or so ago saying that defensively they were prepared to protect their own assets in the region. Now, that seemingly has meant allowing the US to use some of their bases in the region. But just moments ago, we heard from France's leader Emmanuel Macron, who declared that now France would be sending the Charles de Gaulle, a major piece of military hardware on France's side, straight into the Middle East. This is some of what he had to say in a televised address to the nation.
Samedi dernier, la guerre s'empare une nouvelle fois.
Since last Saturday, war has once again engulfed the Near and Middle East. Triggered by strikes launched by the United States and Israel against Iran, it is now spreading throughout the region and having grave consequences for peace and security for all. The Islamic Republic of Iran bears primary responsibility for this situation. Faced with this unstable situation and with the uncertainties of the coming days, I've ordered that the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle, its air assets and its frigate escort set course for the Mediterranean.
So now, seemingly, as this conflict escalates, President Trump had said 4 to 5 weeks, perhaps even longer. Now you've got the United Kingdom, France deploying assets to the region, and Iran striking, as we'd heard, US embassies in and around the Gulf region. This will be of significant concern to the Trump administration now. Not only Riyadh and Saudi Arabia yesterday, but now Dubai as well, that US targets are increasingly coming under attack from the Iranian regime. Marco Rubio is due to address lawmakers in the coming hour or so. But those strikes on the US embassy in Dubai, a very, very worrying development indeed, Pete.